Alright guys, welcome back to Frugal Homestead. So today we're going to show you how we make our version of a cheap pallet composting bin. It's not fancy, it's not pretty, but it gets the job done, takes minimal effort to build, and generally it's just very cost effective for the short-term use. Now this one will have some key differences because it is going to be a pre-composter, which means all of our larger stick items and stuff like that will go in this before it goes into our multi-stage compost bins. That said, it's real simple. You need 3 pallets, basically the same size. I'm using roofing metal screws. The square head makes it so you can take them out when you want to disassemble this thing in the future. Just makes it easier. They tend to not break going in also. You also need 2 boards cut to the width across of it. Now, 2 key differences in our design versus other people's. Generally, a lot of other people use 4 pallets and just make a box. That's fine. I like to be able to get into mine from one side and flip the pile over. That's just my preference. So we use 3. Another thing is, a lot of people will line theirs with cardboard. That makes the pallets last longer, controls your compost in one area, and is generally a good idea. We do that on our finished grade and our medium grade sometimes, but we never ever do it on our starting grades, just because there's no real point. It's all big sticks. Now, some people put cardboard down under theirs. We do not do that. We want the life to come up out of the ground and help the composting take off. Everybody has their own ways of doing it. There is no right or wrong. Do it whatever way you feel is best. So let's get started. So as you can see, all of our pallets are 48 by 40. Doesn't matter what size you use, just whatever way you like it. So what we're going to do is, I'm butting one pallet up against the other. Now as you see, I just screwed it together. It's as simple as that. Now for the other side. Now as you see, we got our basic frame, but unfortunately it's wobbly. That's no good. So we need to tighten it up. So what we need to do is take a measurement at the back, take that measurement, go cut our 2 boards at that, and then we're going to attach our boards to strengthen it up. I've already cut mine. Mine ended up coming out that I needed 40 inches. So let's get them on. Now it's time to attach the bottom. Honestly, this is probably the most important piece of the whole puzzle, because this is what's going to hold your bottom together, and as everything settles to the bottom, it's going to push everything outward. I would say that whatever the biggest board you got is, put it down here. All I had was 2x6, so that's what we're going to use. And just that simple, you now have a secure structure to start piling your compost in. Now, like I said before, if you wrap this with cardboard, nothing will get through and fill these chambers up and rot these boards faster. So it actually is a good idea. But in a minute, I'm going to show you what we're using this for and why we're not. I also want you to see that I can still take my drill with my nut driver head and pull all these screws out to tear this apart if I want to move it or if I want to replace pieces. That's an important step. If you want to go ahead and get those screws, it'll make this job a lot easier in the long run, because doing pallets is nice, but there is some maintenance involved to it. Every couple years you're going to have to change out the pallets or rebuild them. It's not a big deal. Generally really easy. We can always get pallets, but it is something to think about. So let's fill this sucker up and we'll show you why we don't need to line ours. Alright guys, so this is the wood chips that the tree cutters bring us and drop off. Now see how it's real sticky? Alright, I'm going to take the fork and come in, shake off all the little stuff and put the big stuff in the composter. All this little stuff will be left and will be used to take and mulch our Back to Eden gardens, and will also be used to mix in some beds we're building with some peat moss and some other dirt, just to put more organic matter in it. All right, this stuff has been sitting here, you know, composting away, but it's kind of died off. There's no heat to it anymore. So rather than try and turn it again, we're going to try and sift it almost with the fork to get the big stuff off of it. So as you can see, I started throwing it in there. Now I want to show you, we have used coffee grounds. There's also some eggshells busted up in here. I'm going to add that to it in layers as I go. Alright guys, as you can see, I don't have it filled all the way up. I want to leave some room there, that way I can roll it over here in about 2 or 3 days. I'm going to mist it down because it's still not damp enough. I do have a piece of metal I'm going to throw over top. You could use a tarp or whatever. Pulling it on and off to control the moisture level if you want. But as I said, with the sticks and stuff that are in it, it doesn't fall through these pallets as bad as you would think. It's still not bad to line them with cardboard, but in this case I don't think we really need to. That said, you can see the benefit of having the front open and being able to turn it. But everybody has their own style and their own kind. You know, if you were just going to fill this and leave it, then I'd probably put a front on it too and just fill it all the way up and walk away. But I'm turning mine, trying to get as much compost done this year as possible. And this is just how we do it. Essentially, it's free. Technically, these boards could just be sticks that you've cut. Pallets don't cost nothing. Everybody's got nails or screws laying around. So essentially, this is free. Now, in an upcoming video, we'll show you our multi-phase pallet build, where there's multiple chambers. You just flip it over into the next one. And we'll also show you our sifter and how we sift our compost. So, till next time, I'm Tony, and this is the Frugal Homestead, and we appreciate you being a part of it.